accent challenge. Oh, it's gonna be lovely. It's gonna be so good. What else are you gonna do with your month? Why not? Come on, give it a go. Yeah, I can definitely do it. The accent challenge is quite splendid indeed. Good morning! It's our first Australia day. What? I can't possibly do an Australian accent if she doesn't do an Australian accent. This isn't right at all. What's going on? I'm so disappointed. Where's the other character? What is she doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm still stuck in New York. Everything's a disaster. It's all wrong. We interrupt your normal programming to bring you something entirely different. Basically, throughout this whole course so far, we have done things in a very sort of traditional accent way, where I explain these are the sounds, this is how you do them, right from the beginning. We're leading into the final week, which is your own accent that you choose, and I'll guide you through the steps of how to work on it and where to look and how to get it to sound good. And Australian is the last one in between sort of the other way of doing things and next week. We need today to happen first to start training your brain on what to expect for next week. So basically, Australian. It's a very difficult accent. The reason I chose it is because it's a notoriously hard one for people to do, and so it's a really good one to work with. I'm not talking with my Australian accent yet because I want you to hear variations of Australian first from people who are actually Australian. So what we're going to do today is sort of a two-part class. You're going to first take a look at the document of references that I sent and choose a few of them. And you'll see there's another document in your email of kind of things that I want you to listen for and questions I want you to answer. These are things like, does it seem like all of the movement happens in the front of the mouth or in the back of the mouth? What kind of voice quality do people have? Is it kind of hollow sounding or a little bit nasal sounding? Do you hear vocal fry? And then we're going to focus on some consonant sounds, which are easier to listen out for in the beginning. So the things I want you to pay attention to are the T sounds. What happens to T's? If we have a word with T's in the middle of two vowels, like better or letter, what happens to those T's when Australians speak? Do you hear a lot of T's at the ends of words? When we have a word that begins with a T, does it sound really crisp and clean, or does it have kind of a different sound to it? Okay, so listen really precisely for those things. And the other thing I want you to listen for are what happens to the R's. Are they more like British English or are they more like American English? Whichever one they're more like, are there any differences between Australian and either British or American, whichever you think they sound similar to? Listen for all of those things, and then I want you to write down some words that have vowels that you hear and you think, that's really different. Any kind of word or sound that stands out to you, I want you to start making a list as you go, okay? So it's partly, watching things because they're entertaining, but it's learning a little bit before we get to next week how to listen to an accent specifically with the intent of doing that accent and in a way that's much more productive and effective than just listen and try to blindly imitate it, okay? So please do not skip this step, even if you end up watching this in December. Do this first. Don't skip this first day and this first step because you're going to get a much better result later on if you do this in this order, okay? So I will leave you to go and watch some Australian people talk, and then after you've done that, then you can go ahead and check out class number 2. Well, I guess video number 2, because this isn't really a class. This is just me blah, 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 blabbing on at you. So I will stop. Go and listen to some Australian.